My name is Mashir Krisenchan. I'm a visual artist based in Johannesburg, South Africa. The mediums that I use is acrylic paint, charcoal, ink, cable ties, and cardboard. What Brainstorm magazine briefed me about was to include demographics, technology, and business. And that's basically what the company stands for. When I thought about those three aspects and how I'm going to link them together, I thought about social media nowadays being a big influence on what we do. We have kind of this underlying connectivity, which is spirituality. And that comes across in the artwork with the color palette, the purples, the blues, the pinks. I kind of ran with it, the different figures that I used and their different auras that you get from a person. With business, I use cardboard, the deconstruction and construction of culture. And how does that communicate on a worldwide scale? I'm at a point where I can truly say, okay, I'm moving in this direction and I'm not turning back. Within art, I feel like we come too far as human beings to actually look at the negative. And trying to communicate that message, I think it's an important message to speak about.
My name is Bridget Modema and I'm a multidisciplinary artist working in Johannesburg, South Africa. My chosen mediums are glass, steel, found objects and spray paints. I'm extremely grateful to be part of the ITWeb calendar launch for 2022 and getting to know Veeam and what they stood for and how cybercrimes work and how you can protect yourself against it was an interesting journey. The brief was to make a two-dimensional work, and automatically my mind went, how can I make it a sensorial experience talking about safe communication online. Me as an artist, I've always explored how we communicate energetically between one another, and this is usually translated through frequencies and vibrations. It's two devices essentially communicating with one another. The message that is sent from one device to another has to go through a series of streams in order to find its way to the next device. And that journey in between, that middle part, is where Veeam plays that vital role. Then we had to merge other components to it. It being electronical, I used cable ties to illustrate this sort of ethereum level of where the communication is taking place. I had a lot of fun making this artwork and hope you enjoyed the piece. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Pena Melody Madiba, better known as Mal Madiba. So I didn't know what pyrography was back in 2013. I just saw the word and I was like, what on earth is that? And I just simply decided to purchase my soldering iron and experiment. And I never watched any YouTube videos or anything of the sort. So I am really grateful, and I feel like it's something that came to me, and it's something that I really appreciate because it's not a very common skill. So my month was March, and that was International Women's Month and Day, and the theme for the year was breaking the bias. As a pyrography artist, I am really somebody that works with wood, and that is often seen as a masculine object. And what I do is very delicate carvings or burnings with a soldering iron, and that creates a very delicate structure, and that for me represents the feminine. Every single carving illustrates how every single woman is able to make a difference and how we all need to do that to make a difference. And I chose the word emergence because it's a coming of womanhood. We have to keep moving forward so that we can have more rights and have more freedom and close more gaps, all the gaps.
My brief and concept behind the artwork which I created for Vodacom was inspired by their slogan of further together. And how I interpreted this brief was, I used different forms of art and combined them to one another, so I could show that how Vodacom has been very influential, long-lasting in all the ways it's been connecting our communities to one another, from the township to the cities and from the cities to the suburbs. So with that said, I had three types of art styles which I incorporated into this artwork. So I used the sand art kind of style, abstract art, and as well as landscape. The mediums that I used in my artwork were acrylic and spray paint on top of a masonite board. Ponte Tower and Soweto are combined to one another with the figures of people walking across, showing how we are further together but we are combined to one. But at the same time, I combine the two cities, showing how a future floating city could be, influenced by Vodacom's innovative technological ways, you know.
Hi, my name is Temba Shabalala. I'm a visual artist, professional artist. And the brief basically was for me to focus on the month of basically to pay homage to all the street vendors, most importantly women, who are working hard and they always spend their time to make a living, and not only to support themselves but to support their kids, all the women that are self-employed. So the idea of actually bringing the narrative of civilization, development, a new society mixed with the old way of living, an African way, you know, as technology made us evolve over time. I'm seeking to flash back into history and also to convey the idea of movement, trying to make a living. I myself was raised by a single mother, so seeing these women on the street working so hard to put the bread on the table is quite inspiring, and I feel like that's what technology is.
My name is Snowchino Balthazar Ribeiro. My sponsors were Huawei and Mustang. My painting was based on two worlds colliding, the modern world and the ancient world. The reason I chose this concept was that the world is connected today. Whether you're in the rural areas or in the modern cities, we are able to talk and communicate with people that we love in any part of the world. The medium that I decided to use was stencil, abstract, and new expressionism. What got me into art was just a feeling of belonging. Growing up, I always felt like I wanted to do something that I really loved, and I found my refuge in art.
I came to South Africa almost 2 decades ago to pursue my career. I use acrylic, and they always say art is an inborn exercise. That's why I started very young. There are a lot of people who along the way in my career helped me to achieve what I've achieved today. I pushed the boundary, and today I'm very grateful that I've been given an opportunity to express myself. So in this way, I'm able to gain more exposure and do well in art. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
My name is Bukosi Nyati, and my sponsor was Dell Technologies. My brief was how we use data and messaging and how messages are collected. In breaking that down, the client wanted an image of a person working in a relaxed environment and be mobile. I immediately thought of the times that we're living in currently, and then thought about a young working woman living at home and working from home. And also I thought of using the COVID virus as the sun. So I used Fabriano paper with oils, mixed medium with collage and acrylic paint. When I was a kid, I actually started drawing. Art found me, it called me, and I responded.
Greetings, my name is ITWeb Nisi. I'm a practicing fine artist from Johannesburg, and my medium of expression is charcoal. The piece that I created is based on the innocence and the growth of the African child. So I wanted it to become an educational piece through which the key to success could be seen visually. An expression of happiness from a little kid who is also graduating to a new world and a new dawn. And so I thank Huawei for giving me this opportunity to tell my story through their story as a commission piece.
My name is Nkululeko Ezra Silulu. I'm an artist, I'm a creative. What I got from the brief was that this project is made for Iskoko. It's made for the hustlers, the go-getters, the folks that wake up in the morning that make things happen. And I had to tell a story from that. As a storyteller, as a writer, I really struggled until I took a walk. And these are people that I'm seeing on a daily. These are people that are selling in the streets. These are people that are selling in tuck shops. These are the bakers, the spatula makers. And what really inspired me was what I'm seeing in my neighborhood. So the mediums that I used was acrylic, canvas, and a pastel. And art for me was a healing. It was how I interacted with people. Growing up, I was really shy. I was a homebody. Hardly really went outside. It was an escape from a world that didn't make sense, that I had to create a world for myself. And that's how I, gradually grew and decided, you know what, this is a calling on its own. This is how I interact with the world. If somebody didn't understand me, they saw my art, they would understand what's going on with this brew.
My name is Theophilus. I am a multidisciplinary artist working with sculpture, painting, drawing and installation art. I am happy and delighted to be featured in this year's Brainstorm calendar. It was a wonderful opportunity for young creatives. So in this specific artwork titled The Guardian of the Earth, I used acrylic and oil paint. This artwork was inspired by nature and it depicts a woman on a landscape lifting a shovel. The flamingo beads are used to define feminine beauty with their beautiful colors. A shovel is used as a symbol of strength, and the idea was to create a colorful painting full of happiness and vibrant energy that represent the BMW company.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Walter Fumani Mahleka. I'm a visual artist based in Gauteng and Joburg. That's where my studio is. So our theme, it was like how the COVID affected our life when it comes to technology business. In that way, I managed to strategize and start to develop my subject matter, whereby I portray the globe, the Hawaii logo around it, and the gadgets of technology around, to show that Hawaii and Mastech collaborated to bring a solution to the problem that we have been facing and bring the cloud meeting, doing the Zoom meeting, all the information we needed them to save them in our cloud. Someone you can see is wearing a suit, other one is working from home, having a tablet, someone with a phone, afar from each other, but in a Zoom meeting. So shout out to Brainstorming Calendar, shout out to Hawaii and Mastech. My name is Walter Fumani Maluleke, signing out.